Hello, my name's Tragic O'Hara, and this is it's not a studio, it's a workshop. So, a lot of people have been asking for me to take them on a tour of where I work. Just going to talk about some of my stuff. I don't like calling it a studio. I don't know why. I just don't like the idea of calling it a studio. I don't know, it sounds a bit... I just like calling it a workshop, because then it kind of makes me feel like I need to work when I'm here. This is like my, I don't know what you call it, like my control room. I only recently done this, but like, if you have a look at my desk, that was really low recently. But what I've done is I've raised it so that I'm standing up editing and doing stuff because, well, for a couple of reasons, but the main one's this, right? This was my chair. Right, let me take all this stuff off it so you can see. Yeah, I need to clean that up. So look, you can see the bolt marks starting to come through, like, because all the padding's off this, and I've got there's a wheel missing. I need to do that all again, Jesus! So every so often I'd be talking to someone and then I'd lean backwards and I'd fall. I had this yoga mat and I'd put that over the top of it to try and make it a bit comfier. But then what I found I was doing was I was coming in here because I've got a perfectly good seat here. So I was sitting there and using my laptop there, and then I was doing what I could to avoid coming into this bit because the seat was broken. So that's why I raised that, and honestly, like, it's done wonders for me, because what I'll do is I'll come through here and I'll type stuff up or I'll edit things and I'll go back through there and start working. Like, it's made a huge difference to the way that I do stuff. I know I've spent the first 20 minutes of this talking about a table, but like, that has actually revolutionised the way that I work, moving that table up the way. So like, I used to plan everything out on this whiteboard as well, but then what I was finding was I was constantly having to take photos and rub it out and take photos and rub it out. So what I've started doing is like stuff like that, and writing it all out like that and leaving it on the door. So while I was filming that, I had an idea. I used to write stuff up on this, and I tried it on a board through there, putting up everything I need to know. I'm going to buy magnets, and I'll just put everything up there in post-it notes like a big to-do list, and just take them off when I've done it. It took me trying to explain why I put stuff up on walls to figure out that I should be just using magnets in that board. That there is some of the ideas for the book, and there's the plan for the book and the things that I've written and stuff that I need to like kind of work on, but it's there all the time. This is my first aid kit because, as you know, I'm quite good at chopping bits off of myself. What else have I got? I've been working on this. I need to climb up this seat, I think. So that there, I don't really know the story behind this yet, but I've been wanting to make posters like that for a while, like actually cutting up the things and putting them together and stuff, and sticking it all down. So that one's for the Barrowlands in Glasgow. I don't really know the story about that yet, so I can't really tell you much about it. So like, I was going to tidy the place up, and then I thought, what's the point? Because that's not how I work. Like, I work in a pure mess. As you can see, like, I don't have things organised particularly well. I keep all my paints and inks in the same place. Like, that's all my pencils and stuff. Like, I keep everything. Like, I'm a bit of a hoarder, right? So, as you can probably tell. So there's like stuff in here that I've kept for ages, like these eyeball stickers. So I got these made up a while ago because I was doing this thing where I was going about and I was drawing, like, I was looking at things like signs and stuff, like the bicycle thing, and I was like, I could make a wee eyeball sticker and stick that up and like draw arms and legs on it and like make them like do things in the real world. So I done that for a while, but I kept them because I know eventually I'll use them in something, like I could stick them on things. But I was doing stuff like this, like and then like making it a wee character. Like, I was doing that for a while. I called it the Eyeball Kid because that's a Tom Waits song. So like, I had an Instagram and stuff, and like, I was going about and I was putting them about places and all that. But then I started doing it and I stopped taking photographs because like, I was just doing it because I thought it was funny. But I've kept them because one day I might go back to something like that. So, and I'm kind of gutted about that glass jar, right? Because, well, the story behind this is this. I am horrific. Like, these here, like that's my shelf where I put everything, like all my paint and ink and all that goes up on this. But what I've realised is that shelf's pretty bare because I've put everything up on that other shelf, right? And I went to see my friend Sandy the other day, and he had a cactus garden set up where we like UV light and stuff. And I thought that's what I'll do on that shelf. I'll set up like wee plants, because one of the things I do, like, there's no natural light in here. Like, there's nothing. It's just a big cavernous space, so I get no sun whatsoever. So like I thought I could just maybe put up in one of these shelves like a wee kind of garden. So like, and that's what the jars were for. I thought I'll just keep all these jars and I'll like see if I can grow cactus from seed, just to see what happens. Because I've obviously not got enough on, you know what I mean? All this stuff here, these are all posters from my bedroom when I was growing up. Like, I went back to my mum's house and I took all my posters off the walls because I really wanted to make it feel like my bedroom. It felt like the walls were really bare. So I went and I got all that. Like, that there is from a gig that I played in the Magnum Theatre, which is no longer there. They knocked that down in 2003. So what's that? 18 years ago. That was like, it wasn't my first gig. It was like, I can't remember. We never won though. I remember that. I need to see if I can find footage of that. I think I've got it in DVD. Anyway, I used to paint records with like different things on them. I think I'd another one. It was called, I had like a cassette tape with a worm coming out it, like a tapeworm. I don't know. Like this was years ago. This was about the same. That was after that. It wasn't in 2003, but it was a long time ago. And what I'd do is I'd have a record case, satchel kind of thing, and I'd put these records in the record sleeves, and then I'd have a tube of that stuff there, and I would stick them up in walls. That's what I would do. And I'd done that for a wee bit before I got bored and moved on to something else. What else have I been working on? Oh, right, this is for another video. I've been painting grip tape for the Tragical Mystery Tour. I've had it sitting in there for ages because the guys at Shred gave me a box after I made that video about 6 things I want to do before I die. And one of them was this grip tape idea. So I started painting that because I had like in fact, I'm not going to tell you the story about it because the story's going to be in that video. So that's another thing that I'm working on. So you can see it's just a bit of a mishmash. Like, I've got these 2 tables, like these 2 trestle tables that I bought when I was making the Santa, and these bits of plywood were supposed to be painted on, like the MF Doom portrait, but they've now just ended up becoming tables. So there's a kind of distinct lack of light in here as well. So like, that's why I have to have all these lights set up and stuff, but I quite like it like that. But now that the summers came, like, I'm walking out of here and it's like it's burning my retinas. What else have I got in here? What else? I'm going to need to start using these shelves properly. I mean, look at that one, it's got nothing on it at all. And that one through there's overflowing. That there, I made that, and I found that at my mum's house the other day. I made that when I was in first year, so I did, and it's like probably the only thing I kept from school. And here's all my paint. This is where I keep all my spray paint and stuff. I keep all the caps separate so that I don't, like that one there, like every so often I'll walk by and I'll accidentally hit it and then I'll paint myself by accident. These are my granda's old cameras that I don't know if any of them still work, but I just kind of like the way they look. And eventually, I think that one's probably the only one that would work. But I think eventually I'll try, because it can get really dark in here. So I thought like I'd be able to use it as a darkroom, maybe. But that's on the list. The list is just, in fact, I'll show you the list. The list is no longer a list, it's a book. It's a jotter. So I have 2 books at any given time. Right, this one's where I write all my lyrics and stuff. In, like, if I'm working in songs or different things like that, that's where I write all that sort of stuff, so that I know what it is and I don't need to really dig for it. I can just kind of look through it. But this is my ideas. These are just ideas and different things that I'm thinking about and stuff. So I can't show you all of them because some of them are like part of my why. So I can't really show you it. But like I can show you some of the stuff. Like what I wanted to do was paint that whole wall where Deadpool is green and make it into a green screen. And I had an idea where I've got that little clip-on fisheye lens, where if I was to film on my phone square, because you could only really film 4:3 or 16:9, but if I could film 1:1, then what would happen is it would be like a perfect circle in the middle, and if I painted that green, what I could do is, for a song I was working on, I was wanting to do it so that I could film myself singing in front of it and then have the different stuff in the background. And that's what that idea was. And then I had an idea so I got a mask. Like I bought this mask. I never ever turned into anything. Like that's what most of this stuff is. Things that I've decided I was going to do and then bought stuff to do it and then never done it. Like I was going to paint that the same colour green as the wall. And then if I put that mask on, you would see through my face to do something like that. I was definitely going to do it. That was going to happen in January. And then I just never done it. Oh yeah, there's an idea for a podcast that I want to do where I get someone on and I set up here and I live stream it, and what I do is I paint a portrait of them while I talk to them. Then while we talk, like I can add in different stuff and all that, and then give it away. Whoever the guest is, say like pick a charity, and then we like auction it off for charity or something like that. Like I was going to do that, but I can't get anyone in here yet because of the lockdown. So I will do that. I'll try that one day. So that's where I keep all my ideas. It goes in that bag and it comes everywhere with me because I write down everything now. Like I don't have a filter. I used to not write stuff down. Like I would veto it in my head. But now what I do is I write it all down, and then eventually it just rises to the top of the book. Like I keep going back and looking at it, and then eventually you see what the good idea is. Because sometimes a good idea is not a good idea at the time because you don't know how to do the thing or certain bits of it. So like I just kind of let that happen and make it, and just kind of let it turn into what it's going to turn into. What else have I got in here that I can show you? Oh, these are things that my sons made. Like they came down one day and I got them to draw and paint stuff so I could stick up on the wall so that they've got their own things hanging up. That there was my granddad's as well. That's the old lanterns that they used to use on the railway. Like, and I'm going to maybe do something like that one day. Like we all found those in the shed. That's them. That's my gran and granda there. That photo was up in the garage, and I put it up in here. Like that's from one of my mates' houses. I don't know why I'm there. But these were all things that were up in my room. That was my favourite space to make stuff, was my bedroom, and I was like, if I can create that again, do you know what I mean? Like that same sort of feeling and stuff. What else have I got? My fridge. You're not going to be interested in my fridge, are you? That was my other band. I'll show you that. In fact, I might use one of these songs as the music in this. I was in a band called Dirge back in the day. I stole that poster out the Barfly, which is no longer there. I don't know what year that was. I remember when I played the Barfly, it felt like a huge deal because like I'd went to see Mondo Generator there and like other bands that I was really into. So it was like, wow, this is an actual place where people have played. Do you know what I mean? Let me show you this. So see when I raised my desk, right? It wasn't high enough. So see that there? There's a suitcase. So that was a suitcase I used to use, because my granddad's again. But see, I used to put all my guitar pedals and like harmonicas and stuff like into this suitcase when I went to gigs, and I'd turn up with a guitar case that I'd written Tragic O'Hara on in like massive white letters in that suitcase, and then during the gig I'd open the suitcase and I'd take out the things that I need and stuff like that. But I stuffed it to raise my computer because it wasn't high enough. But now it is. Now it's the perfect now it's the optimum height for my back. This is me. This is where I work, like, and some of the things that I've been working on and that. But it is a total mishmash. It's not very well organised at all. But I kind of like it that way. Like I don't like. If I had tidied this up, it wouldn't be me, because this is what it looks like constantly. Like that in there's usually the tidiest place, which is why I probably film a bit more kind of talking stuff in there. But like this is where all my rubbish goes, all the stuff that I use. That's where this stuff used to go in the garage, and there was never enough room for it, and it would get broken. Like that jar and I wouldn't be able to use it. That's what this space is for. It's to put all that stuff in. Like I know that cardboard will get used. Like I know there's all these different things. That up there's like my up there on top of the. That's deep storage, shall we say? Deep storage, which is stuff that I very rarely touch, but I'm keeping anyway just in case. This is my workshop. This is where I work, and I think I might want to do one of these like every year because it'll change. Because I'll be adding stuff and that, but like this place was a cavernous space when I moved in. Like there was nothing, that whole bit there, that didn't exist. So if you want to see what this place looked like before I moved in, I've got a video on my channel called Moving Out of the Garage. I think go and watch that if you want to see what this place was like and how I got in here and stuff. And if you've already watched it, thank you. And you know how much work had to be done in here to make it hospitable. And this is it. Like I do tidy it up every so often, but I don't tidy it up a lot. Like I tidy it up if I've got company, which is very rare. This is my studio. It's not a studio, this is my workshop. This is where I work. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to my channel. You can get me at Mr. Tragic O'Hara on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And next time, don't know.